All right, guys, welcome. Thanks for coming out on a Saturday. So today we're going to be talking about writing ads, which obviously is a very, very important part of what we do. And there's something called executive communication, or just being able to capture people. So you all know how fast people scroll online. There are techniques and tools and tips that can help you really get people to stop in their tracks without the title, which I'm sure you guys have all seen, this stop scrolling title. And maybe you haven't seen it. This is really a game of trial and error as well. You have to be testing these things. So for this application today, because most of you are just in the phase where you're just writing your first ads, and for those of you that have been writing for a while, maybe this will help you go back to the basics. Where did you kind of get off course of like how to get your message out there? So what I want to talk to you about today is kind of the structure of how to write an ad. Now, there's a couple of things that I will tell you. If you're not writing ads on a regular basis, you're going to fall behind really quickly. So, honestly, I say this over and over and over, and I still rarely see people do it this way, but you guys should be honestly writing ads constantly. Because the fact of the matter is, I don't write an ad and put all of my all the lottery on that and be like, well, if that's going to go, that's going to go. Because what if it doesn't? If you don't have a backup plan and you don't have another ad written, then you're going to be super discouraged. You should literally be able to put an ad out every single day if you need to, with a new writing before one goes. So how do you write an ad? First of all, I always say write an ad when you're feeling inspired. So if you're trying to force how you write an ad, that's one thing, and you're not going to be able to actually create a powerful message. So first off, before we even talk about structure of an ad, you have to be coming from a place of inspiration. So I usually write my ads. I find I'm more inspired in the evening, sometimes after a yoga class, driving for whatever reason. Some of my best ads I've ever written, I've literally pulled over and wrote them down, or I also use a voice note on my phone. So when you're inspired is when you're going to start to create these ideas. The other thing is you need to get in the heads of your audience. What would you read? What would you think? And to be honest, you guys, there's things called story ads, and a lot of you have seen that in the training, and you talk about your story. Well, it's kind of getting to the point where people don't really care as much about your story anymore. Yeah, they want to relate to you. Yeah, they want to know you're a real person. But are you your story isn't really that important. It's actually because that's not relatable for people. So where are your people? What are they thinking? Where are they at? Another thing about writing ads is it's totally situational. So you say you're in Canada, your audience is pretty much anybody that celebrates the holidays, and it's the new year. So what are people thinking right now? Yeah, people are probably just coming down from their sugar high. They probably drank a lot over the holiday. People are generally more depressed, might have gained a few pounds. People are wanting motivation. The weather is cold outside. They're wanting to escape to a tropical place, but they're really tired of living for holidays. Their bank accounts are empty because they spent most of their money at Christmas. You have to start thinking of where people are. So in the spring, where are people at in the spring? Well, spring break's coming up. Do you live for your vacation? How long ahead do you have to plan a travel? One of the hugest things for me was always the travel companies, they've got it figured out. They know when people can travel, right? They know that people can only travel at certain times of the year. So what happens in those times? The cost of travel skyrockets. So you're literally a slave to not only do you not get to pick when you get to go, but you also are at the mercy of paying extra for a vacation. So if you're running an ad around that time, that would be a great topic. You have to start thinking about where your audience is and what they're looking for. And that's when you begin to speak to that. So first thing's inspiration, right? Coming from an inspired place. Second thing is really getting into your audience's heads. Where are they? What are they thinking? And what kind of solutions do you have for them? So it's about them. The last thing is actually the structure of the ad. So now I'll be totally honest with you. I don't take a picture. I don't write an ad and then go and find a picture that will work for it. I literally will write an ad and I will be like, what's the best image I could create for this ad? I literally take pictures to pair with my ads, or vice versa. Sometimes I have a picture and then the inspiration will be born from the picture. So instead of trying to make things work and marry things together, this is part of marketing, is that you have to understand that your messaging and your image have to correlate, and they really should be coming from the same inspiration, the same ambition, the same motivation. So you really do have to create that entire environment for people to connect with and to understand. Now, when you're writing ads, there is a structure and a format. For this application, I would keep your links out of the ad. So for you guys, I recommend running post-engagement ads, which means you're going to be doing a call to action. Now, a lot of people have said, well, I don't understand, because in the training, they're telling me to put my link in the ad. Now, really quickly, we're going to go into ads down the line, but just for this application, writing ads, I want to explain why. Because conversion ads, when you're driving people to a website, you need way more people to watch a webinar to get a sale than you do when you're talking to people. So that's why everybody that's brand new, AKA everybody that's here, you want to be running post-engagement ads where you're actually learning to connect with people and you're actually looking for people that you want to work with, okay? So down the line, you know, you can, when you're spending a lot of money, then, and you have more opportunity to like have more potential customers without talking to them, then you can go that route, absolutely. But for this application, what we're going to be doing is having a strong call to action. So there's certain elements that you need for your ad. Number one, you need a strong headline. Number two, you need evidence that you actually know what you're talking about. Number three, you need a personal experience in there that proves and backs up that you know what you're talking about. And then the fourth thing that you need is a strong call to action. So if somebody has written those 4 things down, can you please put them in the chat for those of you that weren't quick enough and didn't write them down? Because those are what I feel are the key elements of composing the composition of an ad. For all of you in here, there is a training called Hypnotic Writing. It's in Abundance Unleashed. I will get the training and I will put it in the file section. Hypnotic Writing, it is a couple hours long, but it is a training absolutely every single one of you should watch, and then start writing ads. I literally have had people come to me and say, Shauna, I've been told that you know how to do this, you know how to compose these ads, and in your ACE back office, just so you know, if you guys go under Learning Center and go look under the marketing mechanics, if you go back and you'll see my name behind the trainings, they're quite a while ago. Those, I literally go into somebody's ad and I explain to them exactly why what they're saying isn't creating sales. So I would also go and cross-reference those videos I watched. I know they're a little bit long, but all you have to do is really watch how I talk to one person and you'll start to see how you can apply that to when you're writing ads. So those are a couple tools that you're going to use after this training, because this training is only going to be like another 15 minutes. I want to just give you the tools, then it's going to be up to you to be off and running and to test out your skills. So what I usually do is by creating a strong headline, that's really the key. I've tested ads where I put out an ad. The last thing is length of your ad does matter. So how often and how many of you put in the chat that when you see a write-up, you literally click learn more, and if it's too long, you're just like not even going to do it. You're not even going to read it. I do this all the time. I do it with video too. I'll like click on it and I'll see how long the video is. And then if it's too long, I won't even finish watching it. It doesn't matter how strong the beginning is. I just know how much time I have, and I know that I'm not going to be able to watch them. So the same is for your ad. If someone clicks on your ad, you catch them, you get them to stop, you click on their ad, and then it's like super long. You know what the first thing that you're going to do is? You're going to go to the bottom. You're going to read the last little bit. Most people anyways. Just a little tip for you as well. Postscript, PS, at the bottom of an ad is the most read part of anything, whether it's an email, anything. Almost everybody reads the PS at the bottom. So I always do a PS at the bottom of mine. I'll be like, PS, let's change the world together. PS, let's change how the world functions. Something like that. Anything, something inspiring. I always do a PS at the bottom. So let's just quickly go through the layout of an ad. So first thing, strong headline. What is your headline? Now, this could literally take you away from having a winning ad. Stay away from using a ton of caps in your when you're writing. If you're doing lots of like capitalizations, it's really hard on the eyes and it's really hard to read. The other thing is you never want more than 4 lines before a break. So 4 lines, it's too busy. So 4 lines maximum. I usually do 3 to 4 max, and then I do a break, a space, and then the next one, right? So way easier to use. Also stay away from using a crazy amount of emojis. Again, you have to think of like, people are overstimulated. So how simple can you make it? The other thing is when you become a strong writer, you don't need to have a ton of a dialogue in there because it's going to be really concise. Your message will be really strong. So a strong headline, which I usually use as a statistic. So I use a lot of statistics in my ad because I'll have like a strong headline and then I'll be like, and then I'll put like a Canadian statistic. So for example, I did one that said, it literally said, I can't remember what it said, but the statistic I used was the average Canadian woman makes $30,000 a year revenue. Poverty line is 28,000. And the average woman believes 50,000 is a high income. So I put that in the ad because what that does is it basically says, hey, I'm not the expert here. This is like a study that's been done. And if you use statistics, make sure you do use them from a place that you know is like valid, because people will question you. I've never been like, oh, here's the link to the statistic, because naysayers are naysayers and I don't give them any attention anyways. But it just helps to know that your statistics are on par and you know what you're doing. So use statistics that are valid, and that they're in alignment with what you're going to be talking about, right? I'm not going to write that out and then go into talking about, I don't know. Obviously, I'm catering to women that work, right? I'm not catering to stay-at-home moms by saying that, right? So by saying that, I'm literally speaking to women that are working in the workforce, not stay-at-home moms. So that's just like a what's the word? That's just an example. Okay, so first thing is a strong headline, which could be your statistic or not. And then you're going to go into the guts of your ad. So short and sweet. What is your message? What are you selling? What are you selling? Do you know what you're selling? If you don't, I'm also going to put a training called What Are You Selling? Also in the file section that you can watch. It'll help you get really clear on your message. The more clear and concise you are in your message, so like why you're here. Are you here because you want to stay home and you don't want to go back to work after your mat leave? Are you here because you're really tired of getting stuck in traffic and driving to work every day? Are you here because you want to travel more? Are you here because you want your relationship fell apart because, you know, you didn't feel like you were contributing and he didn't like that? I don't know, whatever. There's tons. You guys are all here essentially for a little bit of a different reason. Some of you are here because you just really know that online's a future and you want to learn the skills. You don't want to FOMO, fear of missing out, right? You're here because literally you're like, I know that this is the future and I'm not going to miss out on this train. So there's those of you that have a business model that you want to do down the road and you want to learn the skills to become a marketer. So why are you here? So, and if you're here, then you believe in some part of the training and that's what you sell. There's some people that are here because you literally just need some support personally and whatever it is. So that's why you're here. So know what you're selling, know why you're here, and then it gets easier to sell it. Make it short, concise, and sweet. And then you have to have a call to action. So you have to get them to reach out to you, comment, and make it short. Like, don't be like, comment money, abundance, wealth, and I'll message you back. No, comment, yup. Yes, I'm in. Something simple, right? You gotta respect people's time and understand that they're moving so fast that you don't have a lot of time to get them to do a lot of stuff, get the message across, maybe put a postscript. But what I see a lot of people make a big mistake in doing is they'll do their call to action and then they'll just keep writing. And like people miss it because some people literally will read the top of your ad and the bottom. So you have to really take into account the length of your ad. Is it strong? Is it clear? Would you comment on it? Like, would you? Like, you gotta think of it, right? Like, is that something that you would be compelling enough for you to click? So if you watch Hypnotic Writing, you watch my trainings in the ACE back office, and then you watch What Are You Selling, I do truly believe that you're going to be able to start to formulate what you're selling. Now, I'll be honest, this vision can change. It can grow, it can expand. You might find that what you're selling and the audience that it's catering to are not the people that you want to work with. So that's what happened to me in the beginning. Was I was selling single motherhood. I was still selling the fact that my child had special needs. The oldest one, unfortunately, I don't know why, but most of the women that I was getting was all women, and a lot of them were on welfare. And I was like, that's interesting. So do women that have children with special needs generally just like, are they so exhausted that they can't even go to work? But I literally found like almost everyone was like, oh, my son has autism too. Or at the time mine wasn't diagnosed, so I didn't know what it was. But it literally turned into like me being a counselor. And I was like, oh my gosh, these are not my people that I want to work with. I really wanted to help them, but that's not who I wanted to work with. So the thing is your message can change. But now I know I'm very confident in who I don't want to work with. So would you ever put the call to action in the PS ever? Probably not, because the PS is postscript. PS is the very last thing that you write. You could write PS, commenting could be the very last thing, could be the very thing that could change your life, like mine. You could do something like that. You could refer to your call to action, but your call to action needs to be something strong. So comment, I'm in, and I will send you over a 17-minute video that will clearly explain exactly what I do. Something like that. Or comment me below, and I will personally reach out to you to find out what you're looking for and if I can help you create that. You know, something like that. It has to be strong. Yeah, so you can refer it back. So use statistics. They're very powerful. They also are a way of being like, hey, don't just take it from me. Look at this. You know what I mean? What's another thing I can tell you about writing ads? What to do? And that's the last thing. There are certain words that Facebook does not want you to use. So there are literally flagged words. So like money, work online. There's certain things that like Facebook flags and not as many people will see it. So we will also incorporate that list in the file section for you guys right along with this training so that you can do that. The thing is about writing ads is this is why I knew today's training was going to be fairly short, because it is quite extensive. There's a lot of pieces to it, and two people can write the same ad and it won't work. This is the other thing. Don't ever copy somebody's ad. And I know that for some of you that you're like, well, that's a given. It's not. It happens all the time. People will literally just copy. They'll be like, oh, that ad's killing it. I'm just going to copy and paste it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, because I had people on my team struggling and I'm like, oh my God, just take my ad, just use it. I just want you to have success. Just take it. It doesn't work for them. And I'm like, oh, it's weird. So it does have to be in alignment with the message that you're constantly putting out there and you're constantly displaying. So at this point, you guys should be posting on your page every day, 3 times a day for 7 days. If you haven't started doing that, you need to start, because we can't make money if you're not running ads. And you guys are literally like less than 7 days away from being able to put out your first ad. For those of you that this is day 7, so for those of you that have been posting 3 times a day for 7 days, you could literally put out your first ad. Well, don't ever run an ad on a Friday night to a Sunday. I'll start an ad on a Sunday night all the way till possibly Thursday. I don't even really turn an ad on Friday. So Fridays and Saturdays, I don't recommend. Fridays, Saturdays, and Sunday mornings, I don't ever recommend starting an ad. Either start it Sunday night or any day of the week. Is there days of the week that are better than others? I don't think so. I'd run ads all over the place. The bottom line is this, you guys, and I explained this to one of my girls the other day, is I said the bottom line is if you have a good ad, it's a good ad. No, I wouldn't never run an ad on a weekend, because you probably will get lower results. But whether it's Monday morning or Tuesday at 2 a.m., especially if you're targeting like other countries like Australia and stuff, it's going to go. So a lot of people are like, I've had people come to me and they're like, I just can't. And I think I started saying this earlier and I got sidetracked. They're like, I've heard you're the girl to talk to write ads. Can you help me? And I'm like, how many ads have you written? And they'll be like, I don't know, 5 to 7. And I'm like, you write 30 ads and I will help you. Not one of those people have ever come back to me. So I've wrote well over 30 ads. I've actually talked to somebody that wrote 120 ads before they got a winning ad. And now they are one of the most successful people in the community. So this is what I mean by you got to be hungry, and you have to like constantly be having new content. One of my new girls the other day told me she has 4 pages of content. I was like, that is what people struggle with the most, is getting content. So the people that are able to put out the most will have the most success. That's the way it is. And then every day you should be testing something new until something sticks. You don't put something out, wait 3 days and put something else out. That's not how we tell you to budget in the coaching calls. That's not at all. You should literally have something new all the time. So another question people will ask me is, well, if an ad doesn't go once, do you just flop it? No, absolutely not. The very first thing I do when an ad flops is if I know the image is good, and this is what I kind of say, like, this is why images are very powerful. We're going to get into photography and videography training, but they're very powerful. So if you know you have a wicked image and a wicked concept and it's just not going, it's just because your call to action or your headline isn't strong enough. So the headline is the first thing I would change, getting a stronger headline. I've taken the same ad and changed the headline like 5 times before it went. So the first thing that you're going to adjust is the headline. You try and compact it, make it a little bit shorter if it's really long, and then making sure that your call to action is strong enough. Is it inspiring? So there's 2. You're either hitting a pleasure point or a pain point, and he goes through this in hypnotic writing, but you're either making people afraid to purchase, afraid if they don't purchase, then things are going to be bad, or they're so excited that they just can't help, they're just can't excited to get going. So you're going to be hitting pain or pleasure points. So how do you do that? Are you inspiring people, or are you helping them really see that that there's another way, whatever it is? So do you guys have any questions about anything I've said? I'm going to be dumping a lot of training on your laps as far as all this goes. And you guys are going to have definitely some research to do and some watching. But I'm telling you, if you could master these skills, I personally watched all this, like, if you can really be open to being like, you know what, I'm going to do whatever it takes to be able to learn these skills. You're going to watch these trainings. These, like, the hypnotic writing is written by probably Kala Kane. He's done millions. His company was doing like millions a month. So, like, yeah, you want to listen to those people. And he's always really good at writing, and it will really help you. So I hope that is helpful for you. If you have any questions, please let me know. If not, I don't see any popping up. So I will drop all that content in there as soon as this video downloads. I'll put it in there along with everything else that I talked about, and then you guys can go and start crushing out writing those ads. This is where you learn how to captivate people. So whether you need to make brochures for your company down the line, posters for your business, I just always, what I'm meaning by this is, like, I just want you guys to understand that these are skills that are going to help you on any level for any business, right? That's why I always talk about this. Like, it's not about just it's almost like we're priming you for the bigger picture. We're priming you here. If you make 100K while you're here, perfect. You got primed and made 100K, right? The point is I want you to understand that these skills, because I've had a lot of people go, oh, so I'm just like trying to convince people and pull them in. I'm like, no, you're learning skills, and they're going to learn the same thing. And these kind of skills are invaluable, getting people to stop scrolling online. Plus, you could have the opportunity to offer someone the dream life that they could have never imagined. You never know. So I hope this was helpful for you. Super helpful. Thank you. You're welcome, Laura. Thank you, Shauna. I love how you bullet point the information, easier to process. I need to look over this info, and I'm sure I'll have some questions. Absolutely. It's always about going back and, like, how can we simplify it? But that's even how I write my ads. So the very last thing I want to leave you with, you guys, is please don't go around and look what everybody else is doing. That is the absolute worst thing that you can do. I do tell people, go look at what I've done every now and then, but that's generally if I work directly with you, because I want to be able to make sure that you really do understand what shortness looks like and stuff. But I've had people get really close to copying my ads, and generally not people I work with, but the message isn't authentic because it's not yours, right? So please don't go around and look at what everybody else is doing. That is the absolute worst thing that you can do. It's going to take you away from your message. And the whole point of this is creating something unique. You can't create something unique if you're looking at what everybody else is doing. And actually, there was a study done, and they say that that's the number one reason people fail in business online, is because they're looking at what everybody else is doing, and then they can't create anything authentic and unique. So I'm glad that this was helpful for you guys. I will see you guys soon. Thanks for coming, and have a great rest of your weekend.